What's going through your mind? How do you feel this morning?
Well, I'm very surprised, shocked, devastated by obviously the verdict, and obviously I'm so appreciative of the support that I've gotten from my legal team, my wife, my kids, supporters. And I regret that all this had to happen, and especially for the people of London. But I'll have something to say in the near future.
Are you going to resign as mayor, Joe? Are you going to resign as mayor, Joe? Are you going to resign
I
as
will make a statement in the near future with regards to what I intend to do. I obviously need to digest what has taken place, talk to my legal team, and look at what I'm going to do.
What do you say to citizens who want you to resign, Joe?
Are you appealing this, sir?
Hi, I'm Patrick Maloney, and this is Jane Sims. We're reporters with the London Free Press and lfpress.com. We're at the London Courthouse, where Mayor Joe Fontana has stunningly been found guilty on all 3 charges he faced relating to a Government of Canada check that helped pay for his son's wedding in 2005. These are fraud under $5,000, breach of the public trust, and uttering a forged document. Jane, what do you take away from the decision that Justice Bruce Thomas read today?
Well, Justice Thomas held nothing back in his decision. It is a incredible decision that goes right to the heart of the defense case. What Justice Thomas says here is that not only did he not believe Joe Fontana, he didn't believe his alibi, Vince Travato, and went to great lengths to show the inconsistencies within that testimony.
Yeah, he also, one thing that jumps out at me is he said that in the day of arrest interview with the RCMP, Fontana said, I don't recognize that document, that he would, of course, later admit to doctoring 7 times. He said that, the judge said that defies belief. You have the decision here. There was one part that jumped out at you.
Well, I have to say that, Justice Thomas went at great lengths to point out that Joe Fontana did this when he was an MP, that he had the trust of the public, that he should be held at a higher standard. And what he wrote was, while I am perplexed as to why a man of such accomplishments might choose to take these actions for $1,700, I do not find that detracts from the strength of the Crown's case. I have long abandoned the notion that motive results from a logical cost-benefit analysis.
Now, we have 2 components to this fallout. There's the criminal component and there's the political fallout. Help us understand the possibilities in terms of the sentencing, which is set for July 15th.
Well, what we'll do on July 15th is the Crown and defense are preparing arguments and will submit their suggestions for sentence. Defense lawyer Gord Cudmore has already said that he'll be collecting letters of reference and also trying to present the accomplishments of Mr. Fontana, who of course has been in the public eye for decades.
So an appeal sounds like it's not in the cards. Am I right that jail time is a possibility?
Well, now, we can't say the appeal's not in the cards yet. That decision hasn't been made, and that takes a little while once everything has time to soak in. Is jail a possibility? Well, there is no mandatory minimum on these charges, so it's always a possibility. But also, there's a good possibility that Mr. Fontana won't go behind bars at all.
And, of course, under the Ontario Municipal Act, he's still a politician. He's the mayor of London. These charges date back to his time as an MP. Under the Municipal Act, being convicted of a crime does not disqualify you from continuing to hold office, which a lot of people are astonished by, but that is a fact. Politically, does he stay in office? Today, Stephen Orser, who is the mayor's absolute #1 bulletproof ally on council, spoke to reporters after the verdict, and I was gobsmacked by what he said. Here's what he said.
I'm glad I fought for the mayor to have a fair trial. Justice has spoken. The honorable thing now to do is to resign. End comment.
So when your #1 ally on council is telling you need to resign, you can imagine what people like Joni Beckler and Nancy Branscombe are going to have to say the next time council meets, because there's going to be enormous pressure on him to resign. That's not to say he's going to. I'm just stunned by the political implications of this. This is in my mind, the most successful politician in London history. And this is the end of the road. This is the end of the road politically for him, and it's stunning to watch. When you think back to the trial, were you surprised that he was found guilty on all 3 charges?
Well, I knew that it was an all-or-nothing proposition. To prove forgery, you had to prove that there was a criminal act to do the forgery, and that would have been the fraud. If he was convicted of fraud and then convicted of forgery, then the breach of trust is basically a no-brainer. That was what was going to be interesting. There had to be some element of a criminal act that had to be proven. So, like I said, it was an all-or-nothing proposition, and that's why he had to be found guilty of all 3.
So on behalf of Jane, I'm Pat. Thank you for watching, and stay with lfpress.com and the London Free Press for full coverage and analysis of the fallout of Mayor Joe Fontana's criminal conviction.